This is another video where you're not going to see me because I want to show you some things. And I'm going to give you examples of two things because today, November 16th, is the anniversary of an anniversary of the death of a woman that the Virginia Medical Board just referred to as Patient A, so I called her Adelle to give her a real name instead of Patient A, which is kind of dehumanizing. And she entrusted herself to this doctor, Mi-Young Kim. And Kim's private practice, and this is something a lot of abortionists do, her private practice had a name that made it sound like a clinic. In this case, I believe it was Landmark Medical Center. Let me see. Yeah, Landmark Women's Center. So they will pass themselves off as clinics to give the impression that they are licensed and regulated by the state in a much more intensive way than a freestanding doctor's office is. And this kind of fake clinic where women die because they think that there's a lot greater supervision than there actually is, I have yet to see a pro-choice organization get their knickers all in a twist about it. They're just totally oblivious. And this woman had a troubled past already. In 1997, she had started an abortion without properly assessing the patient, decided that the patient was 8 weeks pregnant, started the abortion, went, whoa, this is way too much amniotic fluid, way too much. Didn't tell the patient to hurry to the hospital, just told her, go check yourself in the hospital, I'll deal with you later. The documents don't say, and there are documents galore, I'll kind of show you in a minute. The documents don't say what Kim told the woman. They don't say if they told her that her pregnancy was probably in the 3rd trimester, that her baby was still alive, that it might be possible to save her baby. She obviously did not give the woman any sense of urgency because the woman didn't report to the hospital for a couple of hours. She went home, she took care of a few things, she found some child care. When Kim got to the hospital to finish the abortion, it was a nurse there who's like, well, don't you want to order an ultrasound? So she said she didn't want a full scan, she just wanted to measure the baby's head to get a gestational age. So somebody performed an ultrasound, found out that the baby was 26 weeks and 4 days, which was very much a viable baby, but the heart rate was already low, probably because the amniotic sac had been punctured and the poor baby's in there with no amniotic fluid for a couple of hours. But like I said, the documents don't say whether Kim told the mother about that. She just administered some drugs to induce labor, and the drugs put the woman into labor but didn't cause the baby to be expelled. It just eventually killed the baby. And Dr. Kim wound up doing a C-section to remove the dead baby. Virginia just said, you can practice, but we want some close supervision. New York, on the other hand, threatened to revoke her license, so because she wasn't planning to practice in New York anymore, she just surrendered it. So this is the kind of doctor that Virginia let continue to work. Let her have this freestanding office, passing itself off as a clinic. And she made improvements while she was working under the close medical board mandated supervision. So they said, okay, you look good. And on May 8th of 2000, they let her resume practice without any close supervision. Nobody keeping a close eye on her, things evidently went to hell in a handbasket. Because that was May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 6 months later, the woman they identify as Patient A, that I call Adelle, came to Landmark Women's Center. And Adelle was only 26 years old. Just like with the patient before, that the stipulations had been put into place over, Kim didn't order proper lab studies, didn't document an appropriate history, and didn't perform a proper exam before starting her abortion. And over the course of about 10 minutes, she administered a total of 25 milligrams of Versed. And it just occurred to me, probably it'd be a good idea, E-R-S-E-D, learn a little bit more about what Versed is. Okay, so let's go here, drugs.com, look at, okay, so Versed is a sedative, okay, and it says Versed can slow or stop breathing. It's given in a place where your vitals can be watched closely. Okay. And it's got all these, look at all these, do not take if you have this. So remember, they did not do, well, Kim did not do any proper assessment of Adelle to find out if this was even safe to give her. Okay. So, let me see. And again, it's a sedative, so it's not a painkiller. It's to relax you. So this patient's in a lot of pain, and she's just giving her this sedative to kind of zone her out. And again and again and again, dose after dose after dose, without waiting for it to really have time to take effect. And Kim said that she didn't give her any analgesia, any actual painkillers, because she gives enough Versed to cause amnesia and the patient doesn't remember the pain. Okay? Well, you know, you decide for yourself. I actually heard a discussion at a National Abortion Federation risk management seminar where they debated whether it was even ethical to withhold analgesia because you're giving them Versed. And some of them had the attitude that, well, if they don't remember it, then it doesn't matter. Okay. But at any rate, the board noted that she did not have judgment or a knowledge of intravenous conscious sedation and was not fit to supervise a CRNA. Now, at the end of the abortion, Kim at least did have a pulse ox on Adelle and noticed that it was reading only 90%, which is a really alarming finding. Kim thought she found a pulse, didn't bother to check whether or not Adelle was breathing, just told her staff to put an oxygen mask on her and call 911, then administered a drug to reverse the effects of the Versed, but again did not do a proper assessment. And by that time, Adelle had gone into cardiac arrest, and Kim made no effort to resuscitate her. Now, actually, it probably makes sense that she didn't make any effort to resuscitate her because she didn't know how. She was not certified in advanced cardiopulmonary life support. Nobody on her staff was qualified to do an intubation or use the crash cart equipment. Nobody, not Kim, not anybody else. And the ambulance crew arrived. They took her to the hospital, but Adelle was declared dead on arrival at the hospital. And, you know, you can know whether an abortionist is a real me, young Kim, or not. You can find out. I am always telling you, here's Kim. Go to abortiondocs.org. Okay? Now, yes, it is run by anti-choicers. It's run specifically by Operation Rescue. But if you look at the stuff they have, look at this list of documents they have for her. Look at the list. They tell you where this person practices. They tell you information about them. And look at just some of the documents. Look at this. Communication with the medical board. This is about Adelle's death. Oh no, this is about the baby that turned out to be 26 weeks. It was another patient A. They tend to go patient A, patient B, patient C, however many patients care they're looking at. So this is the document with the medical board's findings about that supposedly 8-week baby that turned out to be 26 weeks. This is from the Medical Board of Virginia. This is her license surrender in 2007. She still owns an abortion clinic in Virginia. God only knows, well, God and me, young Kim, only know whether or not she's actually pretending to still have a license and doing abortions there, which is not uncommon. So, one of the things that, you know, you have to remember, if you're pro-choice, they are never, ever, ever, nobody, NARAL Pro-Choice America, Planned Parenthood, National Abortion Federation, National Organization for Women, there is no pro-choice organization that is going to warn you when you've got a Me Young Kim on your hands, or a Kermit Gosnell. NAF knew how bad Kermit Gosnell was. They kept their mouths shut. 60 Minutes did an expose once about an abortion clinic that had killed one patient and left another one mute and paralyzed. And the National Abortion Federation admitted that they knew about it and didn't say anything. They are not going to tell you. Now, these are the people I recommend that you, if you care about women's safety, abortion safety, okay, you can hate them if you want to for what they try to do. This is Operation Rescue. If you get them on your news feed, you'll get articles. And yes, there's going to be hyperbole in the articles themselves, okay? But they will have things, they will have, here's a 911 tape for a botched abortion. Okay, so they'll give you the date. Okay, so they'll show you where it is. They'll show you what the facility looks like.
This is an outpatient surgery facility. Patient has second trimester pregnancy termination, and at this point she's bleeding, so we need to do it.
So they usually have the 911 call recording. They'll have pictures of the facility, pictures of the doctor. And if you look, they've got these links all over the place. The links take you to the abortion docs information page with information. Okay, so that's Joseph Selitz, where they've got her. There's all her information. And, okay, just like with Me Young Kim, look at all those documents. These are lawsuits. This one is just a fictitious name permit, so I'm not even sure Pro-Choice Medical Center is, let's see, fictitious name permit. Let's see if this is an actual clinic or not. Pro-Choice Medical Center, no, it just says it's allowed to use the name, so it doesn't say, let me see. So it's got a permit. Oh no, it's an individual, okay? So she is just Joseph Selitz, MD, doing business as Pro-Choice Medical Center. So here we just caught another fake clinic. This is not a licensed clinic that is being overseen by the health department. You know, it is just her private practice. So, but you can look and you can see the documents. These are license restrictions on her malpractice history. So you can just ignore, and here's any kind of document they can get hold of, they include. Okay, so you can go in and you can just kind of skim the article, so that you can tune out any. Actually, they're pretty low on hyperbole, sorry. They're pretty low on it. They may add a C, abortion really is dangerous, or C, this really is malpractice, or blah, 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 blah. So, you know, you can just go down and all of these links. So this is the patient care record. Okay, this is, you click on this link, you get this. Okay, talks about a previous medical emergency. Click on it. Sorry, my computer's slow. Takes you to a woman hemorrhages after an abortion done on 18-week twins. So it'll talk about the hemorrhage. And then the documents. And there we go. There's operative report. Patient release. Okay. yes, you might not like the tone of the articles that Operation Rescue has, but if you want to find out about these and find out whether you or your loved one is about to walk into a place run by somebody like this, or a Kermit Gosnell, or a Robert Alexander, or any of these other horrible places, if you want to know what kind of place it is, you go to Abortion Docs and look it up. Again, that's Abortion Docs, A-B-O, and it takes me straight to abortiondocs.org. You can go to abortiondocs.org and you can look it up. You can look up like Douglas Carpin. Carpin Douglas, his license is still active. And these are the interviews with his employees who took pictures of babies that had been born alive that he killed. This is links to articles. This is links to various documents, license restrictions, his malpractice history. You can Google them, and you can go to Abortion Docs and look. Now, and this is the death of Glenda Davis, the death of Denise Montoya. You know, the National Abortion Federation isn't going to tell you about what happened to Glenda Davis or Denise Montoya. They're not going to tell you, well, he had 2 patients die and got sued over it. You need to exercise some due diligence and go hear yourself. And no matter how egregious the malpractice is, no pro-choice group ever is going to alert women to that information and tell them to stay away from that clinic. It's not how they operate. So, you know, you can just tune out any hyperbole that Operation Rescue might put in their news feed. But you can just go over, keep track of who seems to be getting in trouble, keep track of what's happening, and make your own decision about, does this seem to be a quacktastic place? Does this seem to be a place where just a bad thing happened and Operation Rescue's getting their knickers out in a twist, way out of proportion? They link to those documents so that you can read them and make a decision yourself. And they don't only limit themselves to documents that say horrible things. If there's a health inspection and they don't find anything, Operation Rescue will still post it. Okay? You can go in and, you know, see what they're up to. Okay? Don't walk into fake clinics blindly thinking it's a licensed abortion clinic, or even like with Gosnell, it was a licensed clinic, but it wasn't inspected, it wasn't safe, even though the National Abortion Federation was letting that guy start abortions in their clinic and finish it in his. If you care about women's safety, get Operation Rescue in your Facebook news feed and just kind of monitor, and you can know if your local clinic is a disgusting place like the one run by this guy, where the used car lot next door had to be making calls because his Carpin sewer lines would back up and fetal parts would bubble up onto their lot. And yes, there's documentation about that. You can find out about these things. You'll never hear them from pro-choice sources because they don't want you to know.